Hello guys, and welcome back to the kitchen. Today, hey everyone out there in YouTube land, today we are making the traditional Greek spinach and feta cheese pastry, Spanakopita, and it is so good. All right guys, so Spanakopita, super easy to make in the comfort of your own home with just a little bit of ingredients right here on our countertop. Let's get started. We have our spinach, baby, beautiful spinach right here. We've got some yellow sweet onions, a little bit of dill, some parsley, my favorite, feta cheese, that salty, briny, delicious, creamy. Oh, it's so good. A little bit of garlic, you know I don't leave home without it, Parmesan, and of course, our phyllo dough. So let's get into it. First, our onion. We're just gonna dice up our onion really small. You know I cannot cook without onion. Today is no different. So our onion is nice and diced up. We're gonna go ahead and get that into our saute pan. To lubricate the entire situation, I'm gonna start with a nice high quality extra virgin olive oil. You know, sometimes I use vegetable oil, sometimes I use olive oil. Today, we're going with the olive oil because all of the flavor is gonna be into one pan. So we want our oil to have as much flavor as we possibly can. So the oil going in there on the bottom, a couple tablespoons, all right? Not a whole lot. You don't need to add a whole lot in the beginning. It's easy to add more if you need to, but it's really hard to take it out if you add too much. So go slow in the beginning. So we're gonna start with our onions. We're gonna add a little garlic. All right, so the onions and garlic been sauteing here in the pan. They're getting happy, getting translucent. Now we're going in with our spinach. The spinach has been washed and dried, all right? It's really nice and tender. We're using the baby spinach, so they're really small. We're not gonna even trim off the stems for this. If you get the big boy leaves, yeah, you can trim off the stems because some of those stems get really big and hardy. But for this one, let's keep it simple, right? Right in. And spinach is like money, especially when you have kids. You think you got enough, and then it disappears. So we're gonna throw all of this spinach right in there. So about half an onion. This was about a 10-ounce container of fresh spinach that you get there right at the grocery store. So spinach is gonna start wilting down. Keep it moving around. Do not forget that you have those onions and the garlic in the bottom of the pan. All right, if you forget them, they can burn. And how do you fix burnt garlic? You don't, that's right. And let's bring the flavor up a little bit. You know I like to keep living these foundations of flavor, the foundational flavor layers. Let's add some white wine to this, all right? Just a nice white wine, Chardonnay, Pinot, whatever you got. That will be just fine. This happens to be a Chardonnay today, and I want that to just start steaming and simmering at the bottom. It's gonna help that spinach wilt really quickly. It's also gonna bring up that level of flavor. We'll take this opportunity to season our spinach. We're gonna do that with a little bit of black pepper, a little bit of salt, and let's bring up some herbs into the party here. First, some baby dill. That's what they used to call me. We'll just chop up some baby dill here. And dill's great. I'm just gonna use the fronds and the stems because it's so small. I'm not really worried about it. I'm gonna chop it up nice and small anyway, as well as some fresh parsley, some Italian flat leaf parsley. Just get just rip some right off there, why not? We're gonna pop the leaves off anyway. So the leaves coming off, the big stems going into the trash. Choppy, choppy, choppy. Into our wilted spinach, we've got our dill and we've got our parsley going right into the party. Oh, and this is so pretty. Look how bright and colorful that is. The spinach is wilted, the parsley's wilted, the dill is in there. We're gonna now finish those foundational flavor layers with a little bit of heat. You know I like a little bit. I am a spicist, but we're gonna add a little bit of crushed red pepper just to bring it up. You know, we're gonna have this feta, the spinach. It can get a little heavy, and the spice is gonna lift it up off the palate just a tad. And now in with a touch of nutmeg. Mix that all around. Now we can kill our heat, kill the fire underneath of it. Let's get some citrus into the party. Get some lemon juice in there. That's a big boy lemon. The lemon is in. Now, my favorite part, this feta cheese. It's so creamy, so salty, so delicious. The feta is gonna go right in, and because we're throwing it into the hot pan, it should melt up a little bit. Whoa, throwing some on the floor here. All right, so the feta's in. We're just gonna give this a little mix. Let that start melting around. So now we don't want this to be hot. When we're gonna roll it into our phyllo dough, it cannot be hot because it's gonna melt everything. It's gonna get soggy. We need it to be cool to the touch before we put it in our phyllo dough. So we could let it sit out and wait. We could put it in the fridge, but I've got a little bit of a chef secret for you. Come on over to the fridge. I've got some sheet pans here in my freezer, 2 of them actually, that are ice cold. We're gonna put one down here. We've got our onions and garlic, feta, all of our seasoning, white wine, and that's gonna go down here onto the sheet pan, the first one, and I got it lined with a little bit of parchment paper. We don't need to get all of the juice. There's still some juice left in there. The pan's not gonna be dry, that's okay. So we're gonna spread this nice and thin. All right, so this cold aluminum pan is pulling all of that heat out of the bottom, but we still have all this heat on the top. That's my trick. We're gonna grab this pan, the second ice cold pan, with a little bit of parchment right on the top, that second sheet pan right on the top. So it pulls the heat off the top, it pulls the heat off the bottom, and it should cool it down really quick. We're gonna throw it into our freezer just for a minute or two, just to knock the chill off. Not knock the chill off, we're gonna knock the heat off, bring the chill down. We're not gonna knock the chill off by putting it in the freezer. That doesn't make any sense. All right, so the spinach has been in the freezer for just a couple of minutes, just pulling that heat right off of it. It should be good to go. Let's check it. We are good. So the spinach is right here. It's cool to the touch. Oh, it looks so good. Let's take this opportunity to find out. ABT, always be tasting. You know the rule. Let's check it out. We got a little spinach, a little feta. Guys, I wish you were here with me today for lunch. So good. Let's finish it off. A little bit of lemon zest just over the top. And now onto the phyllo dough. So phyllo dough, you just get it at the grocery store. Don't try to make your own. I mean, if you really are adventurous, good for you. Not me. I got it at the grocery store. You get in the freezer section, pull it out, let it slowly thaw in your fridge. It's gonna last quite a while in your fridge, so don't rush it, because if you try to work with it when it's still frozen or not fully thawed, it's gonna get really crumbly, really fragile, so it's best to plan this part of your dish out ahead of time. And this stuff is very, very thin. You can almost see right through it. It is paper thin. So we're gonna take one, maybe two sheets down. Here I've got some melted butter that we're gonna start brushing, lightly brush the inside of your phyllo dough with some butter. Don't get aggressive because it will rip. All right, so even maybe just a pat can help. Another layer of phyllo, boom, rinse and repeat. So now we're gonna have layers of flavor, layers of phyllo and butter and phyllo and butter. Get another sheet down. So now we've got our buttered phyllo layers. Let's get to the filling. And I'm gonna lay it right down here on the edge of my sheet, my phyllo sheet. And if you notice, they're thin. I cut these phyllo sheets in half, right? They come in on a roll about that wide. I cut them in half just so we can make it a little bit more manageable. And I'm gonna set my filling down on this side. Leave a space here on the top, because now I'm gonna fold it over and kind of flatten it down. And we're gonna fold it just like a flag. Do we have any veterans out there? Anybody there with an American flag at home? We love you guys. Thank you so much for your service. We appreciate everything you do. And if you've ever folded a flag, you know everything that you need to do. You got all the skills right there in your tool belt. Fold it this way, one time. Now on the diagonal side, flip it right over. And look, we got pretty lucky. We're right there on the end. Got this last little flip there. Here we go. Beautiful. Look at this little Spanakopita triangle. Perfect size. We'll lay our sheet down right here, and we'll lay that one there. And now, just keep rolling. Rinse and repeat over and over and over again until you fill up your dough. All right, guys, so we finished up folding up our Spanakopita just like a flag, or if you were a goofball in school like me, like a paper football. You know you love that game. So we'll set these right here, come back in with our melted butter one more time. This is gonna give us that nice golden brown crust that we're looking for. It's also gonna help seal them up on the top, because we have the little stragglers, the little loose edges. So give them a nice brush of that golden butter. So these, nice and buttered, they're gonna go into our oven. We got it set at 375 with the convection on. We want that air to be moving around. Center rack, About 15, 20 minutes, but keep an eye on them, all right? That butter can brown really quickly. The spinach is already cooked, and that phyllo dough is very, very thin, so it's gonna cook quick. We're just looking for a nice, crispy, flaky crust. About 15 minutes, we should be good to go. All right, so guys, we got a little time here while our spanakopita is in the oven, and I wanted to give you kind of like a little mini bonus recipe while we're doing this. Kind of a 2-for-1 action day. So we have our spinach mixture that we already made. And I found these at the grocery store when I was getting all of my ingredients. Look at how cool these are. They're little phyllo cups and they come already pre-baked. They're ready to go. So for appetizer idea, my brain just went on fire. What could we use these for? And there's so many different things that we could use something this cool for. All kinds of dips and mixes and hot dips and cheeses. Today, let's make little spanakopita cups, or I like to say, spanakopita. No? No? Just me? So we're gonna take our spinach mix right in here to our little phyllo cups. Use your fingers and fill it up. So we're just filling up our last little cup here. We'll top it off, make sure it's nice and organized, get all those little loose pieces in. And because we're not going to wrap these with anything else, I thought it might be a cool idea to top them with my favorite ingredient, more cheese. So let's take a little bit of fresh Parmesan here and let's just grate a little fresh Parmesan right over the top. And the oven's already on, the spanakopita are working. Let's throw these in on the top shelf just to melt that fresh Parmesan. Just for a couple of minutes. All right, so our little spanakopitas, got you again, have been in the oven for just a couple of minutes, just to melt that cheese. Remember, those cups are already cooked. So let's pull these out and take a look. Oh man, look at that. Let's go ahead and just plop them out. We'll just put them right here on our little platter. We'll pretend that I have friends and I've got people coming to visit me today. So we'll just set them out right here on our platter. All right, set that off to the side. If you want to hit it with a little bit more cheese, and I do, we can do that right now. We've got the tool in our hand. Let's hit it with a touch more lemon zest right there over the top. Just to get those fresh citrus notes right at the end. Really quick, really simple bonus appetizer here with our spinach filling. And speaking of what we could do with this extra spinach filling, do you like chicken? Do you like fish? Maybe some salmon, maybe some grouper? This is really versatile. Take it and slide it into a piece of chicken breast. Butterfly that joker right open, stuff it in there, maybe some goat cheese on top, maybe just leave this on the top. Maybe take a piece of salmon, put it on top. There's so much you could do with this recipe, extremely versatile, and that's the way I like to work. Let's grab one of these and check it out. Here we go, bon appetit. Guys, that's cool. That is really cool. Those little phyllo cups are really great, really nice crunch. Could you hear all that flaky crunching? Man, those are so good. I want you to try this. All right, guys, it's been about 10, 15 minutes. Our spanakopita, I think, are looking really good in that oven. Nice golden brown, crispy, flaky crust. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Look at this. Beautiful. Look at that golden brown, crispy, flaky crust. Look at it, just the flavors just oozing out. All right, all you humans out there in YouTube land, I know you're as hungry as I am. Let's check this out. Look at our spanakopita, look at it. Golden brown, listen to the crunch. Can you hear that? Just super flaky, super crunchy. Let's cut it open. You gotta cut it quick. You gotta be like a samurai with it. Look at this. Can you see in there? Look at that crunchy, crispy. Look at those layers of just flavor. Here we go. In for the taste. It's gonna be hot. I'm gonna burn my mouth, but I can't wait anymore. Very hot, but so good. It's so hot. That was so good. That flaky crust, it's so good. My eyes are watered. It was so hot. Wow, that was a mistake, but it was so good. Guys, join us next time here on The Hook. Next week, we're gonna be cooking a Mediterranean pasta dish. I can't wait to have you back here in the kitchen with me. More flavor, more. I need a drink. It's so hot. My mouth is on fire. If you missed any other episodes, make sure you go back, click like, subscribe, that bell icon. Check out all the flavor we have in our kitchen. I can't wait to see you guys next time. I'm going back in. It's gonna burn again, but I don't care. See you then.
Beach easy.